Good morning. Would you please rise for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Public notice statement. Madam Secretary, there you are. I lost you there for a minute.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning, Commissioners. Adequate public notice has been given pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice have been posted at the Board's office and website and emailed to the Department of State and to newspapers of broad circulation within the state.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Holden?
Here.
Commissioner Solomon?
Here.
Commissioner Gordon?
Here.
Commissioner Christodoulou?
Here.
President Fertiliso?
Here. And, excuse me, our next regularly scheduled board meeting?
The next regular board meeting will be on Wednesday, October 26, 2022, at 10 a.m. It will be a hybrid meeting in person at the board hearing room at 44 South Clinton Avenue in Trenton, and live stream via YouTube.
Thank you. The board will be addressing, we will be having an executive session. And we will be addressing the following items in executive session. Under audits, South Jersey Gas audit report. And under clean energy, there are a number of items, 3 items as a matter of fact, that will be discussed regarding New Jersey Economic Development Authority. I think they're all actually an energy efficiency evaluation study team. So 2 of them are the Economic Development Authority, and the third is the energy efficiency. The board will take action on this item during regular session. Executive session will last approximately 10 minutes unless somebody talks for 20 minutes. Will the Attorney General's office please explain the justification for going into executive session?
Good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning.
Deputy Attorney General Terrell Klein.
Welcome.
Thank you. Audits item 1A and clean energy items 8A, 8B, and 8C fall within the contract negotiation and attorney-client privilege exceptions to the Open Public Meetings Act, which are found at NJSA 4-12B7.
Thank you very much. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we will be adjourning, excuse me, we will be adjourning to a conference room in the next room. So those of you who are here can certainly stay here. We'll move. And hopefully we'll see you in about 10 minutes. regular session. It was a little more than 10 minutes, but gave you a little time to relax and acclimate yourself to the environment, whatever. First of all, good morning and welcome to everyone, those who are here and those who are watching us via live stream. Again, our new boardroom is available. Anyone who wants to come in person certainly is welcome to join us. The report of my death was highly exaggerated. I had COVID, as I indicated the meeting prior to this one, and kind of manifested itself into a head cold, and that's what I'm dealing with now. But I have tested negative for the past 5 days, and so on. So we're moving along. I do wonder, though, if I hadn't gotten all the shots, what effect it would have had on me, because it had quite an effect even with all those shots, and so on. So it's anyone who hasn't gotten any of these vaccinations, I strongly encourage you to really think about it, because it is something that we think we're over the pandemic and so on, and it seems like COVID's going to be with us for the foreseeable future anyway, and the after effects. My wife also had it, and she had it for 2 days, gave it to me, which was so generous of her, and so on, and she's fine. But she wanted me to have the longer term COVID. But we're moving along, and I am feeling much better. And I want to thank everyone who reached out via text, via phone, via email, and so on. I also want to thank our Office of Customer Assistance and our Office of Cable Television and Telecommunications for their dedication in providing top-notch customer service 24/7. Last week was Customer Service Week, a great time to express our gratitude for the thousands of calls, emails, and matters that division addresses every single day. We couldn't do our work without you, customer service. And it takes a special person to really work in that environment. So on behalf of the Board of Public Utilities and on behalf of the state of New Jersey, thank you for what you do every single day. Last week we had our Clean Energy Conference, which was very successful, and unfortunately I couldn't be there, and it really was killing me not to be there, frankly. But we had over 700, I think, if I'm wrong with numbers, please somebody correct me. We had over 700 attendees at Harris in Atlantic City, which was a fantastic number of people. I want to thank my colleagues for their involvement and in the conference, and it's important because it shows the dedication and the commitment that this board has to clean energy. We had not had a clean energy conference in a good number of years, and but this was extremely successful. I don't know if Henry's here. There he is. Henry kind of was the spearhead and led a team of outstanding individuals from our staff who really put this whole thing together. And I want to thank them on behalf of the board for their hard work. This is not easy to put together. There's a lot of different aspects involved, and they really deserve our gratitude in the work that they did. So Henry, staff, thank you. Also, we have a number of new employees who have joined us, and I sent out something yesterday, I guess it was, welcoming those folks. In addition to Michael, are there any other new employees here today?
Yes.
And would you like to introduce yourself to us?
Good morning to all. My name is Sandra, and I've been working in case management and analyst.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
We're certainly happy to have you with us.
Thank you.
Yes,
My name is Martin Cummings. I'm Deputy Director for Energy and
okay, and your only drawback is you have to work with my camera. And also, as you know, some time ago, Abe Silverman, our former general counsel, became our executive policy advisor and has been doing an outstanding job, which opened up the position of general counsel. And I'm pleased to publicly introduce our new general counsel, Michael Beck. Michael, welcome. And the Division of Law has stopped talking to me.
It was a very subtle move from one seat to the next here, so they may not have noticed you.
Darren, please put that.
I have noticed it.
Darren, please put the knife away. But Michael, welcome aboard. We look forward to working with you. Michael has extensive experience, not only in the public sector, but also in the private sector. And we're certainly happy to have him. He's up on the 10th floor, and he will be our guiding force as far as our general counsel is concerned. So welcome aboard, Michael.
Thank you very much for that warm welcome. I'd also like to thank Abe and Carol for welcoming me to the team, introducing me to everyone, and helping with this transition. It's really an exciting time to join the board as part of its staff, so I look forward to working with all of you, as well as continuing my work with my former colleagues at the DOL.
Good. And we were talking about that, by the way, Michael and I yesterday. And the current composition of our DAGs that deal with the BPU is outstanding. And that's because of the leadership of Darren and David and all the subordinates that report to them, who are there for us and give us the necessary advice that is warranted in any given situation. So Darren, thank you. Do any of my colleagues have any comments they'd like to make? Nope. Would you like to make a comment?
Yeah. I just want to say also, I really enjoyed the Clean Energy Conference, and I think what was really wonderful was all the staff that were there and able to have a little downtime and have a little fun with one another as well. And in the bipartisan spirit, see, Henry, I didn't let you down. I know I was a little worried, but I've done those panels a couple of times now. But it was a really good experience, and good to see the governor there too, even at the end, racing and racing.
Unfortunately, it was also the day of former Governor Florio's memorial service. As you know, we did pass away. I guess last week, and or the week before. Governor Florio really became a statesman once he left the governor's office. A man who really did dedicate his life to public service and to clean energy. When he was a congressman, it was then Congressman Florio who worked diligently to clean up brownfields and things of that sort. He was really ahead of his time as far as clean energy is concerned. The state of New Jersey will miss him, but will benefit from the achievements and the contributions he made over his lifetime to our state. Madam Secretary, the consent agenda, please.
On consent agenda items 1A, 4A, and 6A.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner Krista DeLu,
Yes.
President Fidelisa.
Yes, thank you. That brings us to our regular agenda, and the first item is audits. Alice, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. President and Commissioners. This matter involves the management and affiliate
Could you use the
transaction.
microphone,
Oh, I'm
please?
sorry.
Thank you.
This matter involves the management and affiliate transaction audit of South Jersey Gas Company on September 27, 2022. Sage Management Consultants submitted the final report in the above referenced audit. The final report contains 24 chapters, including the executive summary and numerous recommendations. At this time, staff is recommending that the board accept the final report for filing purposes only, release the public final report for comments due by December 2nd of this year. Staff recommends issuance of a secretary's letter setting forth a request for comments. After review and receipt of these comments, staff will bring the matter back to the board's agenda for consideration of an implementation plan. Staff further recommends, consistent with the terms of the agreement for consulting services with Sage Management Consultants, that the holdback of fees in the amount of $119,677.50, pending acceptance of the final report, be released to Sage.
So moved. Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner Krista DeLu,
Yes.
President Fidelisa.
Yes. Thank you, Alice.
Thank you.
That brings us to energy. Ian, you're presenting. Apparently these have to do with FERC. Both items.
Good morning, Mr. President and Commissioners. I am presenting here two items. First is a 2A regarding the ratification of our comments filed in support of the SAA or State Agreement Approach Cost Allocation Methodology for the transmission support offshore wind. So it's on August 29th, on August 19th, 2022, the PGM transmission owners submitted to the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission for the proposed cost allocation methodology for approval by the Commission. Under the Commission-approved State Agreement Approach term sheet, the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities and the PGMTOs are required to work together and have the PGMTOs file a cost allocation methodology to allocate costs for any SAA projects selected by the board. The PGMTOs and board staff agreed that allocating costs on a load ratio share basis to New Jersey load was the correct methodology, and the August 19th filing modifies PGM's tariff to incorporate those changes. On September 9th, 2022, staff, on behalf of the board, filed comments in the docket supporting the filing by explaining the state's offshore wind goal and the cost allocation methodology complied with the Commission's order accepting the SAA term sheet, and that it is also just and reasonable. Staff recommends that the board ratify the comments staff filed on September 9th, 2022.
So moved. Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner Krista DeLu,
Yes.
President Fidelisa.
Yes. Ian, you're rolling.
Yeah. Agenda item 2B is also a further comment ratification. This is for the ratification of staff's comments on FERC's transmission plan cost allocation notebook. So, for background, on July 15th, 2021, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or FERC, opened a rulemaking docket titled Building for the Future for Electric Regional Transmission Planning and Cost Allocation and Generator Interconnection. It issued an advance notice of proposed rulemaking that docket the same day, inviting comments on various topics related to transmission and interconnection reform. On April 21st, 2022, FERC issued a notice of proposed rulemaking, or NOPR, in the same docket, proposed an extensive set of transmission reforms primarily focused on enhancing long-term regional transmission planning, as well as enabling fairer allocations of transmission costs. FERC also proposed to reverse course on its prior efforts to expand competition in transmission development and instead restrict it by granting incumbent transmission owners rights of first refusal, or ROFRs. On August 17, 2022, staff, on behalf of the board, filed comments on the NOPR. Staff believes nearly all of FERC's proposed reforms are in the interest of New Jersey's ratepayers and/or will facilitate New Jersey's clean energy goals. First, staff's research indicates that the more efficient transmission planning FERC proposes to require could ultimately save ratepayers across the PJM region billions or even tens of billions of dollars. Second, FERC proposes to require more holistic consideration of benefits when allocating transmission costs, which should reduce the risk that New Jersey ratepayers will be forced to pay 100% of the cost of projects that benefit both New Jersey and other states. Third, FERC's proposal will help facilitate transmission development both New Jersey and the nation need to meet the respective clean energy goals. Indeed, a Princeton study published last month, September, found that unless investment in transmission is accelerated, only 25% of the emissions reductions the Inflation Reduction Act was initially projected to achieve will be realized. The comments staff submitted therefore supported and sought to buttress the case for most of the NOPR's proposed reforms, or urged FERC to go even further. However, staff believes that FERC's ROFR proposal is contrary to New Jersey's pro-competition policies and would lead to unjustly and unreasonably high electricity costs. Over the past decade, subjecting new transmission development to competition has saved New Jersey ratepayers hundreds of millions of dollars. Yet FERC's proposed ROFRs would allow incumbent utilities to build new transmission projects without facing any competition, thereby driving up transmission costs paid by ratepayers. Consequently, the comment staff filed vigorously opposed FERC's ROFR proposal. Staff therefore recommends that the board ratify the comment staff filed with FERC on August 17, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Yes, sir.
If I could, thank you very much, Ian. The right of first refusal is a very common way of streamlining and speeding things forward, but I just want to add to your caution that sometimes these anti-competitive practices can really have unintended consequences. It's not just the rates, but a lot of times when industry concentrations increase, or where there's some things which will verge on anti-competitive practices, it's not just rates, but it's quality, it's customer service, it's the ability to finance its customer service and product variety. So I just want to maintain your and reiterate your concern for the right of first refusal can lead to some very unintended consequences that we should be very aware of and help mitigate in advance.
I would say staff agrees with the broader concern there as well, that we think that having more competition also leads to more innovative proposals as well as lower costs overall.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Holden?
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
Commissioner Christodoulou?
Yes.
President Ferdinand?
Yes. Thank you, Ian. There are no items for consideration under cable television or telecommunications. That brings us to water. Michael. Apparently has something to do with New Jersey American Water.
Yes, it does. Good morning, Mr. President and Commissioners. On July 22nd, 2021, Governor Phil Murphy signed into law the lead service line recovery law. Among other things, the lead service law required investor-owned utilities submit to the board for approval as part of its next general rate proceeding, a petition that includes a proposal for the cost recovery of lead service lines. On January 14, 2022, New Jersey American Water Company filed a petition seeking approval of its cost recovery plan for the replacement of company and customer-owned lead service lines. New Jersey American's petition includes a plan to replace lead service lines in its service territory and associated cost recovery. The company's plan included the replacement of customer-owned lead service line, including goosenecks and galvanized pipes as required by the lead service line law, in conjunction with main replacement and relocation projects using the company's prioritization model previously reviewed in prior filings with the board, as well as through other means as the replacement program progresses over the next 10 years. The board retained jurisdiction over this matter and designated Commissioner Holden as the presiding commissioner. Following discovery and settlement discussion, New Jersey American, the Division of Rate Counsel, the Optional Industrial Wholesale Customer Coalition, and board staff entered into a stipulation of settlement which resolves all issues related to the petition. As a result of this stipulation, there is no immediate impact on customer rates. Staff recommends that the board adopt the stipulation.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Yes.
Mr. President, Madam Secretary, I'll be recusing myself from this vote.
Thank you, Commissioner. Questions, comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Holden?
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
President Ferlisa?
Yes. You know, it's such an important matter.
Yes.
We all remember, unfortunately, what happened in Flint, Michigan, and in other areas of one of the most advanced countries in the world. It's vital for the health, particularly of our children, to ensure the fact that these pipes are replaced. As you well know, DEP is in charge of water quality, but our responsibility is the infrastructure. And that infrastructure has to be top-notch. Infrastructure not only as far as lead pipes are concerned, but as far as other areas in our society, whether it's highways, bridges, whatever they are. A healthy, strong infrastructure creates a healthy, strong economy. And that's where we have to put our emphasis as we continue to move forward. A poor infrastructure can easily tumble a society into a third world economy. And that is certainly something we do not want here in the United States of America. So I want to thank my colleagues and staff for the work that we continue to do to replace these lead pipes, because it is vital for our children and for our society in general. Michael, thank you.
Thank you.
There are no items under reliability and security or customer assistance. That brings us to clean energy, and that brings us to Mr. Ferris.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This item pertains to a memorandum of understanding, or MOU, between the board and the New Jersey Economic Development Authority to continue funding to support early-stage New Jersey-based clean tech companies. The board has approved MOUs for funding clean tech programs in fiscal years 2021 and 2022. If the MOU in front of you today is approved, it would enable an additional $3,600,000 in funding for fiscal year 2023 to continue and expand previous year's programs. Board staff recommends that the board approve the fiscal year 2023 MOU with EDA for $3,600,000 in funding for clean tech programs as discussed in executive session, and authorize the president to execute it.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call.
On the motion to approve staff's recommendation, Commissioner Holden?
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
Commissioner Christodoulou?
Yes.
President Ferlisa?
Yes. And that brings us also to another New Jersey Economic Development item.
This item pertains to a memorandum of understanding between the board and the New Jersey Economic Development Authority to continue funding programs in education, research, innovation, and workforce training related to the development of offshore wind in New Jersey as a precursor to the establishment of the Wind Institute. The board has approved MOUs for EDA offshore wind programs in fiscal years 2021 and 2022. If the MOU in front of you today is approved, it would enable an additional $10 million in funding for fiscal year 2023 to continue development and execution of offshore wind workforce and education programs and develop initiatives that spearhead research and innovation that unlock market potential and/or specifically address challenges facing New Jersey's offshore wind industry. Board staff recommends that the board approve the fiscal year 2023 MOU with EDA for $10 million in funding for offshore wind-related programs as discussed in executive session and authorize the president to execute it.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call.
On the motion to approve staff's recommendation, Commissioner Holden?
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
Commissioner Christopher?
Yes.
President Ferguson?
Yes. Jim, thank you.
Thank you.
Phil, you're up. And this item we discussed in executive session also.
Good morning, President. Good morning, Mr. President and Commissioners.
Good morning, Phil.
On May 4th, 2022, the Board approved the issuance of a request for quotation to engage an evaluation study team, EST. The EST would conduct evaluation, measurement, and verification studies, that's EM&V, for energy efficiency programs. The Clean Energy Act of 2018 set in motion a comprehensive redesign of energy efficiency programs in New Jersey. It established an aggressive energy efficiency resource standard of at least 2% and 0.75% in annual energy reductions by customers of investor-owned electric and natural gas utility companies respectively in the prior 3 years within 5 years of implementation of the utilities' energy efficiency and peak demand reduction programs. On June 10th, 2020, the board issued an order identifying changes to the EE programs to be implemented by the electric public utilities and gas public utilities in the state. This EE framework order also calls for the establishment of an EM&V working group to develop recommendations for the board's consideration on a standard, transparent, and replicable approach to EM&V statewide. The working group has identified a suite of EM&V studies that are necessary to achieve the CEA's EM&V requirements for the current 3-year cycle, which we call Triennium 1. These programs run from July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2024. And also for Triennium 2 programs, which runs from July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2027. For this first program year, 2022-2023, staff, based on recommendations from the working group, anticipates that the EST will conduct a commercial and industrial baseline study, heat pumps for electrification study, impact and process evaluations of state-run programs, and a net-to-gross study. Staff seeks to retain the EST through the end of Triennium 2 to execute future EM&V studies. Staff therefore seeks to procure the EST as part of a 3-year contract with the option to extend by 1 year. The evaluation team evaluated the bids received based on personnel management and technical experience, firm experience in successfully completing contracts of similar size and scope, and the ability to complete the scope of work based on the technical proposal. Staff recommends that the board approve the evaluation committee's selection of the energy efficiency evaluation study team, subject to final Treasury approval.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call.
On the motion to approve staff's recommendation, Commissioner Holden?
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
Commissioner Christopher DeLeo?
Yes.
President Ferguson?
Yes. Phil, thank you.
Thank you.
Stacy, you're up, and it looks like you have an encyclopedia for us. Is that right?
Just back up. Back up. Okay, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
New Jersey is in the second year of the first three-year program cycle, also referred to as Triennium 1, of energy efficiency. Let me move this over here. So New Jersey is in the second year of the first three-year program cycle, also referred to as Triennium 1, of energy efficiency or EE programs established pursuant to the EE provisions of the Clean Energy Act of 2018. Staff offers the following recommended updates to the framework for Triennium 1 based on experiences gained by staff, the statewide evaluator, the Evaluation, Measurement, and Verification Working Group, the utilities, and New Jersey Division Rate Council in the first two years. Program year 2022, which is July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022, and program year 2023, which began on July 1, 2022 and runs through June 30th, 2023. First, in the board's order dated June 10th, 2020, the board approved 7 metrics on which utility performance is evaluated and directed the utilities to track and report on all 7 metrics starting in program year 2022. Among these metrics was low-income lifetime savings. Staff recommends that the metric be revised to be low and moderate income lifetime savings to align better with how the utilities are implementing their programs based on income eligibility. Second, in the June 2020 order, the board adopted staff's recommendations related to requiring the utilities to propose megawatt bid target reduction values for use in registration and bidding into the PJM-based residual auction and subsequent incremental auctions beginning with program year 2023 and the 2024-2025 base residual auction. Staff worked with the Utilities and Rate Council to develop recommendations that clarify and update the EE as resource requirements, including directing the electric utilities to offer into the forward capacity market PJM eligible EE measures and reasonable peak reduction values from project measures that they have led, beginning with program year 23, with the option to also offer program year 2022 PJM eligible EE resources. The third area of recommendations pertains to developments in the EMV working group as facilitated by the statewide evaluator. The EMV working group has established a technical reference manual or TRM committee and a New Jersey cost test committee to focus on those respective areas of work. The committees include members of the EMV working group, with additional members representing the DPU, statewide evaluator, and rate council, and the utilities as needed. Staff recommends that the board ratify the establishment of the TRM committee and the New Jersey cost test committee.
So moved.
And then that's the first part. And then, so there's sort of a few things related to the third area recommendations. The TRM sets forth the methodologies used to estimate energy savings in renewable or other clean energy generation. Sorry, this is a little bit long. Calculations used by the utilities to determine program savings candidate or compliance are cataloged in a joint utility coordinated measures list, which references the fiscal year 2020 protocols, the fiscal year 2021 protocol addendum, and TRM from other states when no applicable New Jersey specific measure calculation was available. Staff recommends that the board permit the utilities to report on energy savings resulting from implementation of the utilities EE programs using the joint utility coordinated measures list during Triennium 1. At the same time, the statewide evaluator has worked with the TRM committee to develop a 2022 TRM addendum that includes updates to energy savings estimation methodologies for key EE measures, with particular focus on energy savings attributable to lighting. Staff recommends the board direct the utilities to also report on the energy savings resulting from the programs using this addendum, beginning with our annual report for program 2022 and in subsequent reports during this triennium. Finally, for Triennium 2, staff recommends that the statewide evaluator, EMD working group, and TRM committee support the development of a comprehensive update of the TRM, including input and feedback through a public stakeholder process for the board's consideration ahead of the commencement of Triennium 2 EE programs. Staff recommends board approval of these recommendations on the modifications to the Triennium 1 EE program.
No.
You're not going to I don't blame you.
There was a lot of substance there, so sorry for the miscue on the recommendations.
can't take a breath in between. So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments for Stacy? Roll call, please.
On the motion to approve staff's recommendations, Commissioner Holden?
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
Commissioner Christopher?
Yes.
President Fidelis?
Yes. Stacy, you have the next one
And
also.
the next one, as noted in the presentation of AD, the board approved an energy efficiency transition framework for EE programs implemented pursuant to the CEA through an order dated June 10, 2020, including requirements for the utilities to establish programs that reduce the use of electricity and natural gas in their territories. Butler Power and Light Company, or Butler Electric, is a municipal electric utility in Morris County, owned and operated by the Borough of Butler, serves residential and commercial customers in the boroughs of Butler, Bloomingdale, and Kinnelon, and partially services the township of West Milford and the borough of Riverdale. Given the size of Butler Electric relative to the investor-owned utilities, staff recommended that the board not impose the same requirement on Butler Electric as applied to the other utilities, at the same scale, along the same timeline, and according to the same requirements. Staff recommended consideration of partnerships that would provide Butler Electric customers equitable access while limiting the administrative burden for Butler Electric. On November 8, 2021, the investor-owned gas and electric utilities filed a joint letter petition with the board requesting approval to implement a proposed joint utility solution to budget constraints and overlapping service territories experienced during the first triennium. On August 17, 2022, the board approved a stipulation of settlement which would resolve the utilities request related to the petition. In the meantime, Butler Electric continued to collaborate with staff, Great Council, and the utilities to develop a proposal to deliver EE programs to their customers through June 30, 2024. On September 20th, 2022, PSE&G submitted a petition to extend its current Clean Energy Future EE programs through June 30, 2024, and to offer PSE&G's electric CEF EE programs to PSE&G gas customers who are also Butler Electric customers. On September 29, 2022, Butler Electric submitted a request for the board to find that PSE&G's position satisfies the board's requirement that Butler Electric submit a proposal to deliver EE programs to Butler customers for approval by the board, and staff recommends that the board approve Butler Electric's request.
I don't know this one.
Oh. Which,
I'll second.
which is this,
Well,
8E?
I understand the concept. I don't have this item. At all.
8E,
8E I have is
No, it's something else.
Watchung Hills.
I think Watchung Hills should be 8F.
Well,
Perhaps it's not.
forgot
Yeah.
the Butler one.
Yeah. Okay.
My AD is the public. You?
Is it listed as the last two items in 8D?
No, on the published agenda, it's 8E.
This is 8E?
Like I said, I understand the concept.
Yeah.
Don't have paperwork for that one.
Right. Okay.
So, I'm gonna move it, and I'm glad to see the public.
Second.
Program.
Any questions, comments? Thank you, commissioners. Roll call.
On the motion to approve staff's recommendation, Commissioner Holden?
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
Commissioner Christopher?
Yes.
President Fidelis?
Yes. Thank you, Stacy.
Yeah.
Dustin, you're up.
Morning, Mr. President
Good
and
morning.
Commissioners. The Watchung Hills Regional High School Board of Education submitted an application under the Pay for Performance Existing Buildings Program, requesting board approval of a financial incentive of $534,576.02 for the installation of energy efficiency measures at the Watchung Hills Regional High School in Warren, New Jersey. This proposed project has a total cost of $4,569,057.13. If approved, this application would cover interior and exterior lighting retrofits, insulation, air sealing, weather stripping, a high-efficiency air-cooled chiller, high-efficiency rooftop units, high-efficiency motors installed with variable frequency drives, and building management system upgrades for ventilation control. Annually, this project would conserve 1,012,594 kilowatt hours of electricity and 20,068 therms of natural gas. The project will also reduce peak demand by an anticipated 405 kilowatts per year. The proposed project will provide estimated annual energy cost savings of $136,592. Staff recommends approval of the application for the total estimated incentive amount.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments?
If I could just say, I know that the payback period on this is 29 and a half years, and as a professor, I just want to share their optimism that there will be kids in school in the next 30 years. I think that's an encouraging thought, and I hope they know what they're getting into with a 30-year payback period, because I think things in education in particular are going to change dramatically.
Yes, the non-energy benefits are one thing, but I would also like to note that this project is only a piece of a larger energy savings improvement program project, which includes a number of other measures that aren't included on this P4P application.
Thank you, Dustin.
Yeah.
Commissioner? Go ahead.
Yeah, also by 29 and a half years, there's going to be other technologies, for energy savings. And you're not suggesting that are you suggesting that those other parts of the project are what's pushing this out to 29 and a half years? I don't think so, because that's not the basis that we normally do the evaluation. But
No, but at the core of the project, is the ESIP project, but the measures that are listed on this application here happen to produce a savings versus a project cost that would amount to a payback period of that long. The payback period, meanwhile, on the ESIP is very different from this.
right, well, that's what I'm saying, is that it's based upon the energy savings, and maybe we should be looking at our formulas for something that long. It seems a little out of whack.
Bob?
Yeah, I shared Commissioner Solomon's concerns. Normally a payback period of that length is not terribly attractive in combination with the other elements of the project. I think that's what's going to make the difference. And that's what I'll look for.
Any other comments? Yes.
I too will vote for this. This is part of the financing package of ESIP, and I think we have to look at that as an initial framework and what they can use the savings to fund other things, and that's part of that energy savings incentive program. So I will be voting for it.
If there are no other comments, roll call.
On the motion to approve staff's recommendation, Commissioner Holden?
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
Commissioner Christodoulou?
Yes.
President Ferlisa?
Yes. Dustin, your next item.
The Goldman Sachs Group Incorporated submitted an application under the Large Energy Users Program requesting board approval of a financial incentive of $539,208.78 for energy efficiency upgrades at 3 offices in New Jersey. This proposed project has a total cost of $761,010. If approved, this application would cover energy efficiency upgrades at offices in Jersey City, Bridgewater, and Carteret. The Jersey City office would install new controls for the existing electric resistance heaters in 8 emergency generator enclosures on the 11th and 12th floors, install heat pumps to replace these heaters, and replace existing compressors for kitchen and cafeteria coolers and freezers with new digital scroll compressors. The Bridgewater office would install new controls for existing electric resistance heaters in 8 exterior emergency generator enclosures. The Carteret office would convert its parallel waterside economizer to an integrated economizer in one of its chiller plants, install new controls for the existing electric resistance heaters in 5 exterior emergency generator enclosures, and install heat pumps to replace the electric resistance heaters as the primary heating source for 8 indoor emergency generator enclosures, with the existing resistance heaters retained as backup source of heating. Annually, this project would conserve 1,633,966 kilowatt hours of electricity and reduce peak demand by an anticipated 183 kilowatts. The proposed project has an estimated annual energy cost savings of $165,606.49. Staff recommends approval of the application for the total estimated incentive amount.
So moved.
Second?
Questions, comments? Roll call.
On the motion to approve staff's recommendation, Commissioner Holden?
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
Commissioner Christodoulou?
Yes.
President Ferguson.
Yes. And your final item, Dustin.
Verizon New Jersey submitted an application under the Large Energy Users Program requesting board approval of a financial incentive of $1,190,667.53 for chiller plant optimization and lighting replacements at 17 telecommunications facilities throughout New Jersey. This proposed project has a total cost of $1,862,716. If approved, this application would cover, for one facility, the installation of variable frequency drives to the existing primary chilled water and condenser water pumps, and upgrading the existing building management system with additional software to control the pumps in conjunction with the chillers and cooler towers. For the remaining 16 facilities, the application would cover the replacement of existing fluorescent, metal halide, and CFL fixtures with new lower wattage LED fixtures. Annually, this project would conserve 3,608,083 kilowatt hours of electricity and reduce peak demand by an anticipated 263.92 kilowatts. The proposed project has an estimated annual energy cost savings of $409,454.82, as well as operational and maintenance savings of $85,107.40. Staff recommends approval of the application for the total estimated incentive amount.
So moved.
Second?
Questions, comments? Roll call.
On the motion to approve staff's recommendation, Commissioner Holden?
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
Commissioner Christodoulou?
Yes.
President Ferguson.
Yes. Thank you, Dustin.
Thank you.
Mr. Hunter, talk about an encyclopedia. You have 16 pages here of stuff. Not quite, but
I feel your pain.
I tend to exaggerate a bit.
Yes, sir. Commissioners, this item relates to the Administratively Determined Incentive Program, or ADI program, and the petitions of 26 residential solar owners for a waiver of one of the three provisions of the ADI rules. Petitioners seek a waiver of one of the two requirements within the Administrative Code Title 14, Chapter 8, Subchapter 11.4b, or a waiver of the rule in the Administrative Code at Title 14, Chapter 8, Subchapter 11.5k. The boards received 7 petitions from residential solar owners whose projects had commenced commercial operations prior to the opening of the ADI registration portal. The board has also received 7 petitions from residential solar owners who commenced construction prior to receiving a notice of conditional registration in the ADI program. And 12 residential solar owners, or the installer on their behalf, submitted petitions for a waiver of the rule which prohibits installing a solar electric generation facility which exceeds the capacity contained in the initial registration by 10% or 25 kilowatts, whichever is smaller. The rule prohibitions against commencing commercial operations prior to the opening of the program and against starting construction prior to receiving the notice of conditional registration are designed to ensure that solar incentives go only to projects that need incentives. Additionally, these provisions, as well as the rule limiting an increase in system size after initial registration, were designed to clearly establish incentive eligibility and registered capacity of projects, which is particularly important prior to the impending closure of a market segment in the ADI program when a megawatt block approaches full subscription. Staff have 4 recommendations to address the 26 petitions seeking a waiver of the ADI rules. First, with respect to the 7 projects that constructed before receiving notice of conditional registration, staff recommends that the board waive the prohibition against commencing construction prior to the receipt of the ADI program notice of conditional registration. Second, with respect to the 7 petitions where projects commenced commercial operations before the opening of the ADI registration portal, staff recommends that the board find good cause to grant the petitions, waiving the rule, and stipulating that the qualification life and the start date for SREC 2 creation for each of these projects begins on August 28, 2021, which is the date that the program portal opened. Third, with respect to the 12 projects that installed system capacities that exceeded their initial registration amounts by more than 10%, staff recommends the board waive the relevant rule provision and allow their certification of their fully installed capacity. And fourth, and finally, staff recommends that the board direct staff to monitor the incidence of projects installing systems exceeding the 10% limit on system size increases. Report back to the board with findings and recommendations on the rule's effectiveness, and advise market participants that this waiver of the Administrative Code Title 14, Chapter 8, Subchapter 11.5K for these petitions should not be presumed to reflect the board's position on future petitions.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments?
Comment.
Yes.
Yeah, that last item that you just mentioned, I think is important, that we are not tying ourselves into, a blanket waiver under any conditions here. I understand the rules have changed in terms of the sizing and the requirements of reporting. So, developers should be on notice that this is a change. We expect compliance with that rule, and just make it clear that we're not tying the board to continue waiver of these new rules as they go forward. Correct?
Correct. Understood.
And that's important
Yes.
to be on the record, because we can never tie the board in a position that it has no alternative, because every case is unique in its own way. And we have to have that flexibility in order to look at each case individually to determine what's in the best interest of the citizens of the state of New Jersey. So thank you, Scott, for all of that work.
Yeah, I just want to, there is an acknowledgement too. These are new rules. Understand, it takes a while for everybody to get on board and understand the requirements. We accept that, but I think it is important that we make it clear, what our intentions are and that the rules be followed. So,
No
thank you.
question. Good. Any other comments, questions? Roll call?
On the motion to approve staff's recommendations, Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner Christodoulou,
Yes.
President Fodelisa.
Yes. Scott, I thought with that whole list there that we'd be here until dinner with you.
I'm glad I disappointed you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Kathleen?
Good morning.
I see we have something from Rockland Electric and electric vehicles.
We do. This would be the fourth of 4 electric light-duty utility programs. On November 23rd, 2020, Rockland Electric Company filed a petition with New Jersey Board of Public Utilities seeking approval of its electric vehicle program. The parties agreed that the company's EV program will consist of 4 individual subprograms, with a total budget of up to $7.6 million. The incentives for make-ready only account for $5.8 million of the budget, including up to 1,448 Level 2 residential chargers, up to 413 Level 2 commercial chargers, and up to 30 commercial fast chargers. There also includes a demand charge solution, which includes a declining demand charge rebate. The company's EV programs, as detailed in the stipulation, contained a variety of offerings, including residential, multi-unit dwelling, workplace, and public charging. And the company's EV programs, as revised in the stipulation, align with the policy initiatives of the board and the EV law. And I will now turn it over to Paul Lupo from Energy to discuss the rate portion of the stipulation and recommendations.
Hello, Paul.
Hello, thanks, Kathleen. All EV-related program investments will be deferred and placed in a regulatory asset to earn a rate of return at the company's most recently approved weighted average cost of capital, which shall be reviewed for prudency in a future base rate case. Incremental EV program-related operation and maintenance expenses will be deferred in a separate regulatory asset at the prior month's 2-year Treasury rate plus 60 basis points, which shall be reviewed for prudency in a future base rate case. Again, all costs incurred in connection with the program remain subject to a prudency review in the company's next base rate case. The stipulation includes residential time of use, rate options, a rate parity solution for multi-unit dwellings, and a demand charge rebate program. The company will submit a filing to the board for a managed charging program that is aimed at developing customer off-peak charging behavior with a budget by December 31st of this year. And as a result of the stipulation, there is no immediate impact on a residential customer's bill at this time. Any changes in rates related to the cost of the program will be addressed in a future RICO base rate case proceeding. So staff's recommendation is, based on our review and evaluation of the submitted applications, staff recommends that the board adopt the stipulation in its entirety, incorporate its terms and conditions as it will be stated in the board order, ratify the decisions made by Commissioner Gordon during the pendency of the proceeding, and order RICO to file revised tariff sheets conforming to the terms of the stipulation prior to October 31st, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call.
On the motion to approve staff's recommendation, Commissioner Holden?
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
Commissioner Christodoulou?
Yes.
President Fiordaliso?
Yes. Kathleen, Paul, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That brings us to the end of our agenda, and if there are no other items or any other comments from my colleagues, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, sure, no problem.